right, as promised, every single day I'm going to jump on. So, what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to recap yesterday, what happened yesterday. um, as if you missed the live session, then you probably won't know what I'm talking about. So I was looking at getting in buy. So I was looking at this big move up. I was looking at this as a retracement, and then what ended up happening is it kind of just went against me. So I took my first loss trading this strategy since starting. So 2 weeks, first loss, and I think I lost. It was about probably 2%, which is my limit. So 2% is the loss I will take if I do take a loss. And like I've mentioned before many times, my take profit is normally around 1%, or not my take profit, my target for the day, right, is always around 1%. So I should be able to make this back within 2 days. So, but one thing I do want to talk about is, I think a lot of people that come live onto let me repeat myself there. A lot of people that go live, especially when it comes to trading, are very quick to show only wins or excuses, this and the other. I am busy testing my strategy, and I've made that very clear. I'm live testing it at the moment on a demo account, and I'm just fine tuning things, and this is the whole point, right? And in my mind, a loss is as important, if not more important, than your wins, right? Because it gives you the opportunity to learn. And if we are learning from our losses, then it can only be a good thing, right? So um, I I just want to make sure that I am being, completely upfront with my viewers, my subscribers. I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to be, beating around the bush. If I take a loss, I'm going to show you that I take a loss, and I'm going to tell you why I took the loss, right? So obviously, yesterday price reacted off pretty much every one of my levels. And this is where I can learn from. So it's not actually showing my entries for some reason. My entries were pretty much my first entry, I think, was on this area over here. So we did go into a bit of profit. So first off, I could have taken small profit. I was looking for actually the break of that. Anyway, we pushed down, we pushed back up. Second position was in, and I could have taken profit there. Generally, I leave the first two to play out. The third position, when I get into, is basically my opportunity to come back and at least get a little bit out, no longer looking for that, the big amount. And my fourth and fifth position are essentially just get out, break even, essentially. And I had every opportunity. Yesterday, I was kind of in and out all the time, so I wasn't sitting in front of the screen, and that is going to happen sometimes. So you can see with the first push down, so I could have taken profit there, but I was looking for, I think it was about $4 or $5, which would have been up there, or maybe about $4. Anyway, we tapped into our second. We came up to this position there. I would have been into a small profit, but probably would have still been looking for a bit more. So fair enough, I didn't close. We came all the way down, tapped into this third and the fourth. And I think I actually even had one more position. I think I had 5 open at that time. But at this point over here, this big push up over here, I would have been probably in about $3 or $4 profit. So I definitely should have closed here. I was not in front of the screen at the time. And as a result, we pushed down. We opened, tapped into our fifth position down here, I think it was, and pushed up again. And I could have again closed around break even. So I had probably about 3 or 4 opportunities to close out this position. Maybe 2 of those opportunities I was not in front of the screen, and then another 2 I chose not to. So this is where we learn, right? We learn from our mistakes, and it's so important, guys. Whenever you are back testing, this is why I don't like back testing, because a lot of the times people will lie to themselves in back testing, because it's very easy to do that. In a live market, you cannot lie. You know, whatever happens, happens, and you have to deal with it. And this is why I love this form of testing. Yes, it's on a demo account, but it's important to do it on a demo account, right? because you start figuring out when you do lose, what happened, what could you have done differently, and could you have kind of turned that around in any way? And yes, I could have yesterday. There were four different opportunities that I could have taken advantage of, and I didn't. And as a result, I did hit my stop loss. My stop was under this low over here, and I did hit that. And price kind of kept turning around, right? So we kept turning around, and that's that, right? We take the loss. I'm not salty about it at all because I am expecting losses. I'm not expecting to be 100%. I'm expecting to take losses, and this is when I want to take losses because I want to see, with my losses, where could I have done better. So with this, I have already learned where I could have been better. So for me, it is a learning opportunity. Any loss in my books is still, a good opportunity to learn and get better. So um, let's have a look at today. Is there any trades we can look at, right? So I'm just going to quickly open up a new window where I don't think you will see this. I'm just opening up FinViz. If you guys know, I like to look at FinViz. So yesterday, FinViz was showing me that there was a good chance that GBP USD was going to turn around. However, that did not happen. At the moment, we're seeing something very similar. So I am looking at GBP Euro going up again. So I'm going to look at both pairs. I'm going to just do a quick markup over here, see where we are. I'm going to remove that. Can I remove these? No, I can't. I don't think so. Let's have a look. Can I delete? No. All right. So let's have a look where we are right now. So on the daily, we did kind of push down, push back up, push down, pushing up a little bit more. So it's kind of ranging a little bit on the daily. I'm not really looking at any big moves there. I would say on the daily, if anything, we are generally looking at going down. We've kind of like been breaking these lows, smaller movements, but we are kind of heading down. Then we did have a very big push up over there. We've now had a push down, and we're now coming back up. So today we have been kind of rallying back up. But we did open, we pushed higher, and now we're kind of coming down. So are we going to see a continuation of this push down, right? So let's have a look. Is there anywhere that we can push in? Now, if I'm looking at this bigger move over here, I would say price is still, and this is the thing, like if you don't have a clean move on your time frame, just go up a time frame. So if I'm looking at this move over here, let's look at that. I would say that we have tapped into the 38.2. If we are going to push further down, that would be the next area there. There's no point marking up the 61 because this is a weekly, so it's not going to reach there unless we have some crazy move, in which case there's nothing you can do about that, right? So let's go down to the. So I would say on the weekly and on the daily, we are still looking like we are kind of pushing down. On the 4 hour, again, we have had this push down. Let's have a quick look at what that looks like. We have started retracing off of that. So we tapped into the 60. So now we are pushing down. I'd say on the 4 hour, we are pushing down as well. Just taking it time frame by time frame. That's that move we looked at. We had this big push up. So my bias, I'm kind of going against FinViz here because I feel like we are still going to be pushing down, especially since we had that massive push down yesterday. I still feel like we are likely to be moving down, right? So if you look at this move here, we did break this high over here on the 30-minute and probably the 15-minute as well. But was this just kind of reaching and grabbing liquidity, some kind of liquidity there? Because that, you can see that candle there is all wick to the upside, and then we have straight away got this push down lower. So let's have a look at what this looks like on the 15. I'm just trying to get myself a bias, a general idea. At the moment, to me, I feel like we're pushing down. So on the 15-minute, you can see we had this big push up over here. So at the moment, we're sitting at the 50. If we are going to continue, obviously these are our areas over there. And you can see it's pushing down right over now. Right now, it is pushing down. So I think I can potentially force in a trade. I want to get into a trade just because we are on the because we are on a live. So I would like to try and force a trade if possible. So let's just have a quick look at the 5 minute. So I'd say if we do, just see what this candle does. If we continue here, I'll go back to the 4 hour, have a look at what we're looking at there. 4 hour. I'm just going to mark my high on the 4 hour because that's what I'm going to use as my kind of ultimate stop. And then I would like to kind of see it come down to break this low over here. So I'd like to see this move with the retracement. But if you're looking at the kind of bigger picture, this could just be a retracement from this, right? So we'll be looking, I'm just going to move this. So we literally tapped into the 50 and now we're pushing up. So yesterday's move could have just been the retracement on the 4 hour. Just trying to contemplate, do I go for the buy or do I kind of not? That push down yesterday is the retracement. So I'm just going to mark some stuff up here, guys, see if we can. Have a look at what we're looking at on the 5 minute at the moment. So you can see that we have had this big push up. So let's have a look at what levels we can start looking at. I think I am actually going to, I'm changing my mind. I'm actually going to go with FinViz on this one. So we've got, that's where we are now. I'm actually going to take my first buy already. We've got that. We can buy into that. We can buy into that. So just go to the 1 hour, see what that looks like. Pretty much the same move, but then that could be our low. I'm going to look at 3 positions today, guys. I'm going to put in 3 positions, maybe a little bit less risk. Go on the 5. Actually, I can put in 4 positions. That's what I'm going to look at. I'm going to still look at 4 positions. I mean, it doesn't matter. We don't need to even go down to the 5 because I'm just going to look at, I'm going to take my first buy now. Oh, sorry, we are. I thought the power went, but it's just my light that cut. Okay, so we're still good. We're still good. All right, so I'm gonna move this out the way. I'm gonna actually go in for some trades here. So I'm gonna go back to the 15 just so I can see the bigger picture, see where I'm kind of targeting. Man, it's so slow today. I'm sorry about the speed, guys. My internet is seriously being a problem at the moment. All right, so let's have a look at this. I'm just going to minimize that. So So if we were to kind of get into a trade there, our stop loss, I'm going to give myself a little bit more room there. Obviously, we don't want to risk 63%, 0.01. Take profit is just going to be literally this top over here. Actually, I'll go for the higher one there. So we're going to go for that. And I'm actually going to buy right now. We'll buy that. And then the limit is going to be this one. Is going to be the next. The stop loss is going to be all the way, sorry, down there. Take profit is going to be there. That'll be the next. And then we just keep doing the same, guys. I'm only going to go in on 4 positions today. So what I can do with these final positions is I can go a little bit more aggressive. So that is that. I can go 0.02 with that one. My take profit is probably going to be there. And we can buy that. And then we do the same for this. Okay, so and I had to look at today a little bit, and sometimes, it's not as clear. But at the end of the day, all you can do is try and work out exactly where you think price is going to go, the most logical place that you think price can go. And sometimes you get it wrong, right? And that's why I have this kind of management method that I use. Yesterday, it could have got me out of trouble 4 times, like I said, but I chose not to take those. So it is what it is, right? So that's what we're looking at today, guys. That is my trade for the day. I am looking at potentially making back at least 1% today. So I'm going to go a little bit more aggressively. I'm actually going to be looking for about $9 today. See if we can squeeze out $9. If the first trade just goes to its take profit. Sorry, we just lost our connection there. Where my trade's gone. Alrighty. So you can see we are having a nice kind of reaction off that area, pushing up. So this one I am actually looking for. Yeah, so this one I'm only going to be looking for about $3 or so. $3. It might be. Let me just check quickly. One, two, three, four. Oh, not too bad actually. Okay, cool. Good to know that it's okay. I've lost my trades though. I don't know where my trades have gone. Trading panel. I think I might need to connect again. Hold on one second. Why are we... Let me just refresh this guy. Oh, there we go. All right, just going to refresh and connect. All right, just connecting back up, guys, and then we will be back on the screen. See, I'm connecting directly to a live account. It is a demo account, and I'm not trying to pretend that it's not. I've been very upfront about that. I've always said this is a demo account because I'm in my live forward testing phase of kind of what I'm doing, right? So that's where we are, and that's what we are doing. So that being said, let's see how this goes. So we are pushing down a little bit. We're going to see, do we tap into those? Do we move up? And how this all goes. So let's have a look at all of these. So it's 5, 9, 60. So it's, yeah, it's about $20 again. So about 2%. If I am wrong today, let's make sure it kind of sticks to that about that amount. There. All right. So we're gonna let this play out, guys. See how it goes. But yeah, but I initially started thinking that I was going to go into sells on this. But when I looked at the 4 hour and just looked at the move on the 4 hour, yesterday's move, although quite, to me, just seemed to be a retracement on that 4 hour, because everything else is kind of still pointing to an upwards move. On the daily, it is pushing up. On the weekly, yes, we are kind of in an upwards trend. We are actually on a retracement at the moment, but weekly is so far out that I'm not looking at that as a bias. I'm looking kind of from the daily down. Sometimes I'll just use the weekly to get an idea of where price might be going. So if price were to kind of plummet now, then I would say, okay, that first level on the weekly is kind of my idea of where we're heading, right? But weekly is so far away, so you can't really use that in terms of a day trading. If you are maybe looking at a swing trade, then you can look at that. But I'm trading most of the time on 15 or 5. Today I'm on a 15. Doesn't really matter because I was kind of looking on a slightly more zoomed out level in terms of where I was looking at getting in. I could obviously have waited. Like, this is where patience comes in. Yesterday I could also have waited. I'm not being as patient as I should. But the thing is, when you're trading live, right, you guys don't want to watch me just look at a bare screen and say that's where I'm going to get in and never actually get in, right? So because this is a demo account, I can trade a little bit more aggressively than I would. The thing with the demo account and what I am doing as well is I'm also kind of just honing my skills on the management side, right? Yes, sometimes you're going to get into trades at the wrong time, or maybe be patient and not wait as long as you should, jumping in. But how do you manage your way out? Yesterday I took a loss, but I clearly could have got out in 4 different positions, and all 4 of them, apart from maybe one, probably would have still ended in a small profit. So, that's the thing, right? Most of the market is going to give you that opportunity. If you've read the market right, if you've done your analysis and you're looking at, certain levels, and you know how to look at the chart, if you need to, right? Worst case scenario, maybe just take a small loss, right? So yesterday, I definitely should not have taken a 2% loss. And that I know for sure, to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm going to try and make sure that when I get into trade, I'm keeping an eye on the charts a little bit more. I'm going to make sure that I am a little bit more eagle-eyed. I'm going to make sure that, I know where my outs are. So for me now, my first position, if I push up now, I'm looking for the full amount, right? So which is that? Is this about $3.50? That's all I'm going to take from the first one. Yes, it's smaller, but I'm happy with that. If I see price moving strongly, then I might just bump this up to the high over there. Because ultimately, if this is just a retracement, we should be breaking that high, right? So if price moves in a way that I feel confident. What I could do is I can move my take profit higher, and then maybe I can just kind of follow it. Once we are in and above that 350, if price is giving me the indication, I can just start trailing my stop. So that worst case scenario, I'm still taking about $2-3, right? But if it wants to keep moving, let it move, and then I could potentially get about $6, double that, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Now, some people might be saying, I'm not really my stop to my take profit. What is my ratio, my risk reward? I'm not really trading it as such, right? I am giving myself, so essentially, I will either break my trade into 3, 4, or 5, depending on how good I feel about the trade. Sometimes I'll break it up into 5 if I feel like, okay, I need to break it up a bit more. Like yesterday, I needed to break it up a bit more, but then I work it all out. Like now, I won't add another position because I'm already in, and I've kind of like, that's what I'm going with. I'm going with 4 positions, but this essentially is one trade, right? So my risk on this is 2%, and I will take up to 1% out. So you might think that's a terrible risk reward ratio. Yes, maybe it is. But like I said, my win rate on this has been up till yesterday was 100%. And yesterday, I could have kept it at 100%. I didn't need to take the loss yesterday. So, yeah, I feel like at this point, I kind of want the losses because I want to see why am I losing. I want to get to that point where I'm taking the losses on board, I'm learning from them, and I'm moving forward. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But yeah, that's it from me today, guys. This is not going to be a very long stream. At the moment, we don't have a huge amount of people watching. I'm not really seeing too many people comment either. So I feel like there's no real point at the moment to kind of keep these going too long. I'm just going to do my analysis. I will kind of go in and let you know what I'm doing, what I'm looking at, and that's it. If I start getting more viewers and there's kind of a reason for me to stay on for longer, then I will. But at the moment, we're essentially just streaming for like 2 people, and then maybe a few extra people will watch after the fact. So at the moment, it seems like it's just more for me, more for my tracking. So if that's the case, so be it. I don't mind that. What else have we got here? Let's have a look. I think that's it, guys. So what I'll do later today, once I'm out of this trade, whatever happens, I will try and jump on and give a quick recap if I can. I wasn't able to do that yesterday, but like I said, there wasn't a huge amount of people watching, so it almost seems pointless doing a recap. So maybe the recap will be in tomorrow's live session. So it is what it is. So price is pushing down quite aggressively now. So let's see what happens. And this is where we start looking at, can we actually work on our management? Let's see how it goes, see what price does, how does it react, and where is my out? So it's going to be interesting to see, can I manage it better than I did yesterday, guys? Okay, so with that being said, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining in. I think we did have 1 viewer today, so thank you very much for jumping in. I hope that these will slowly pick up. I am going to be starting a 100K challenge with this exact strategy very soon. Now, no, I'm not talking about the strategy, why I'm looking at certain levels. A lot of you might be confused. Why am I just drawing all this up? I am predominantly looking at just kind of a general direction. Where am I moving? I'm using fibs on certain movements, and then I'm kind of going from a higher time frame lower down, and then I'm just kind of working on where I can get in and how I can manage it. And that's it. And that's all you need to do, because at the end of the day, when you're trading, there's only 3 things that can happen. You can either go up, you can go down, or you can kind of range. That's it. And it's just choosing the right time to go in on a buy. If you feel like it's going up, and if it goes up, you get your money back. And if not, you manage your way out, right? And that's all it is. So that's it, guys. I'm going to leave it there. I will give you guys an update on this trade probably in tomorrow's live. I'll let you know how it went. Yeah, that's it for me. I'm going to leave you guys there. Thank you very much and have a good day. All right. Bye for now, guys.